Hello friends, myself Anandi from the University of Mumbai. Today we'll have with us Mr. Vijay Pandya. He is the consulting editor and with DNA for special features. Today we'll discuss on basically the commercialization of content and content in general in the print media. So sir, my first question goes to you as to what exactly the editorial policy and ideology in media production must be according to you, sir.
I think basically it's all about credibility.
Okay.
If you write something which is not credible, which the reader cannot believe, then you can fill pages, nobody is going to read them.
Exactly.
At the same time, it needs to be informative as well, because just having something factually correct is not good enough.
Okay.
There should be some takeaway for the reader, something which will either make them realize the kind of world they are living in or the situation the city is in. So it has to be a combination of credible and informative both together.
Okay. That will help the readers, you think?
That would be a minimum requirement. That's the minimum benchmark we need to achieve.
Okay. So moving on to the second thing, I would like to ask you, how do you find the content in print media as in general, or how do you want it to be?
See, what happens with print media is we have different sections. You have a main edition, you have a finance section, you have the leisure section, you have a sports section. So what happens is the reader profile for each is different.
Different, yes, exactly.
So somebody who is looking at the main edition wants a certain kind of news. Someone who wants to just chill out by reading about celebrities, they'll hit the leisure section first.
Yes.
Somebody who's a sports buff will grab the last page because he wants to know how Sachin scored his century.
Exactly.
So there's a lot of variety in the news that is provided in print, and accordingly you have a different section of writers, reporters and sub-editors dealing with that particular reader segment. Those are all niche segments. So each segment has its own rules, its own do's and don'ts.
Okay.
The writing style for the main edition would definitely not fit with the leisure column. Similarly, if you use the leisure column intro for a sports section, nobody's gonna read it.
Okay.
So it needs to be in sync with your reader profile and what their expectations are. And expectations of readers are very dynamic. They change the day to day. I mean, today Sachin Tendulkar isn't such a big name. You put Virat Kohli, everybody wants to read it.
Yes.
So that's what happens.
Okay, thank you, sir. And being an editor, does it give you an edge over the other positions? And how would you like to improve in the future?
See, like any other vocation or profession, the editorial profession or the journalistic profession is also about climbing up the ladder gradually, one rung at a time.
Exactly.
We all start as trainees.
Yes.
We learn, how to spend 5 days to do our first article.
Okay.
And then by the time you reach a certain position, you knock off an article in 5 hours. So there's this very good story I had read about Picasso. He was sitting at a restaurant and somebody came to him and said, "Can you do a portrait of me?" So he takes this napkin and sketches her face, gives it to her, and she said, "How much?" And he asked for this huge amount. She said, "But it only took you 5 minutes. He says, "No, lady, I've been doing this for 5 decades.
Okay.
So the same way, it's not so much the position you're in as in how hard you have worked to reach that position and how many crisis situations you have faced. Like in my current assignment itself, I've dealt with the Bombay floods in 2005, the railway blasts in 2007.
Yes.
So, we are working under pressure conditions like that, living overnight in the office because you can't go home. You don't know if the replacement is going to come or not. So that is a lot that contributes to the learning process and the growth process. Obviously, you never stop growing, you never stop learning. I can't say that the place where I've reached today is the infinite level. No, I still have a long way to go. I have a lot to learn. And the only difference that it makes is if I have a newcomer who doesn't know the ropes and I know the ropes, in a crisis situation, I can probably react in a faster way and get the job done faster. That person will take a bit of time to understand what's happening and then react to it.
Okay.
So that is the only place where you get an edge, that you know what's going to happen and how to react to it in advance.
Okay. Sir, what do you think about the commercialization of content that's happening these days? There's more of checkbook journalism happening. So,
See, again, like I said, you have different sections in a publication.
Specifically for your...
So within different sections of a publication, you also have niche sections where
Yes, exactly.
somebody wants to say that I don't want to put an ad, I want to put an advertorial.
Okay.
So that's where this whole concept of written edit matter started. But somewhere along the line, the whole process of doing an advertorial got blurred, and the readers began to believe everything that they read was news.
Okay.
While some of it was an advertorial. It's just like looking at an ad. You don't believe what is written there. You are going to make an effort to verify for yourself. If an ad is going to say that in the month of March I'm going to sell mangoes at $200 a kilo, you're not going to believe it. You're going to go there, you're going to confirm, okay, are they good mangoes or are they green mangoes?
Okay.
So in the same way, if you have an article saying that so and so movie is doing great at the box office, and fans are cheering and throwing money on the screen, you don't just go and buy a cinema ticket based on that article, because that's probably an advertorial. You look for the critic's review to understand actually what's happening in the movie, how many stars it rates, and whether it makes sense for you to go and see it or not. So I think it's a lot for the readers to understand the difference between an advertorial and editorial.
Okay.
I would not say there's something called checkbook journalism. I would say that there's a different format which has come up, where people are avoiding advertising and using advertorials in its place. And the readers need to understand this and make the difference between a critic's review and an advertorial. If they can learn to do that, things are fine. If they get confused between the two, yes, you do have a problem.
Okay. So do you think this trend, what you're talking about of advertorials, it's good for journalism, or
There's nothing like good and bad. I would say that every field evolves over a period of time. There was a time when people used to read an entire edition. Now they only go through the section which interests them.
Yeah.
Similarly, there are people who don't want to read a critic's review of a movie, because they are afraid it might turn them off if it's their favorite actor's film. So they'd rather read the advertorial and feel good, okay fine, I should go and see it. So you have a lot of self-delusion going on in the world we live in, and advertorials help people live out that self-delusion to some extent. Because you need to justify, if you're going to spend $200 on a movie ticket, if your favorite actor, when you come out, you don't want to feel that, oh my god, why wasted $200?
Yes.
So you need someone to justify that 200 rupee investment. So yeah, that advertorial helps you justify that.
Okay.
That's the way it is.
Okay. Any other comments, or you would like to add inputs of your own?
I think like every other profession, journalism is going to evolve further.
Okay.
We have a lot of overlapping happening between the print media, the digital media.
Yes,
by the time you read a news tomorrow morning, it's already stale because you've seen it on television and got a Twitter update on your mobile. So there's a lot of technology getting into the picture.
Yes.
Even publications keep updating their websites on a regular basis.
Yes.
People are accessing publications on their mobiles. So there is a lot of evolution happening, and going forward it will be a case of the readers being more specific about what they want and don't want. And that is what will shape the media going forward. Because ultimately, if you don't have a reader, and if the reader doesn't like what you're sending out, there's no future.
Okay.
So readers will definitely shape what is going to be the course ahead, and let's see what happens.
Thank you, sir, for spending your time with us, your valuable time with us, in fact. And you are a great source of information, and I hope that your information will benefit us in terms of my career too.
Welcome.